Ever wondered if skipping meals could actually improve your health? Fasting has been practiced for centuries, deeply rooted in both religious and medical traditions. Ancient Chinese, Greek, and Roman physicians recommended fasting for its health benefits. Benjamin Franklin famously remarked, "The best of all medicines is resting and fasting." And Mark Twain echoed this sentiment, suggesting that a brief period of abstaining from food can often be more effective for the sick than medication or doctors. The first recorded modern medical use of fasting dates back to 1914, when physicians treated diabetes patients using fasting methods. A 1977 medical journal detailed the case of a type 2 diabetic woman who experienced a complete reversal of her condition after fasting for a month. Remarkably, her glucose tolerance remained normal for a full year, even after regaining the weight she lost. In recent years, many physicians have embraced fasting as a treatment for type 2 diabetes, a condition that has reached epidemic levels worldwide. The importance of this is profound, as cardiovascular disease, the leading cause of death among type 2 diabetics, accounts for many diabetes-related fatalities. Among the various fasting methods, intermittent fasting and its subtype, time-restricted eating, have gained the most popularity. Time-restricted eating limits food consumption to a set window of time, often 8 hours, while fasting during the remaining hours with only non-caloric beverages permitted. Animal studies have shown that eating within a limited time frame prevents weight and fat gain. Some research suggests similar effects in humans, though calorie intake and physical activity levels still play critical roles in managing body composition. For athletes and bodybuilders, TRE may seem appealing. However, a recent study by Lowe et al., Journal of the Endocrine Society, 2020, indicates it may not be ideal for maintaining or building muscle mass. The randomized trial followed 140 overweight and obese participants for 12 weeks, with 100 completing the study. One group followed a structured meal plan with 3 daily meals, while the time-restricted eating group ate freely from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and fasted from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day. The time-restricted eating group lost more weight overall, but there were no significant differences in fat mass, visceral fat, or resting metabolic rate compared to the control group. Notably, the time-restricted eating participants experienced a greater reduction in fat-free mass, potentially indicating muscle loss. The weight loss observed in the time-restricted eating group likely came from muscle loss, a concern for athletes and bodybuilders. The study did not clarify why this happened. Other research on intermittent fasting shows mixed results on muscle retention. Some studies show no muscle loss, while others indicate a loss of lean mass, which includes water and muscle. The duration of fasting plays a key role. After about a day of fasting, the body triggers muscle-preserving mechanisms, such as releasing growth hormone and producing ketones. Ketones, byproducts of fat metabolism, become an energy source when glucose and glycogen are depleted. Interestingly, ketones are highly efficient for brain energy. Studies suggest that dietary ketones, like those from medium-chain triglycerides or coconut oil, improve cognition in early dementia by compensating for reduced glucose usage in the brain. There are 3 main types of intermittent fasting. First one is alternate day fasting. Eat freely one day, then limit intake to 25% of calories the next. While this mimics the life-extending effects of calorie restriction seen in animals, it's hard for most people to sustain. Second one is time-restricted feeding. Eat within an 8-hour window and fast for the remaining 16 hours. Though easier to follow, it's linked to greater muscle loss, according to some studies. Third one is periodic fasting. Fast for 24 hours once or twice weekly, then eat normally. Many find this effective for fat loss. While the first 8 hours are challenging, ketone production may ease hunger afterward. The main reason people try intermittent fasting is to lose body fat, but studies show no clear advantage over standard calorie reduction diets. However, intermittent fasting promotes fat loss by triggering several changes in the body after 48 hours of fasting. Lower insulin levels encourage the use of stored fat for energy, while increased ketones help preserve muscle and provide an alternative energy source. The process of gluconeogenesis converts amino acids, lactate, and glycerol into glucose and stores stored fat is released as fatty acids, which are either burned during exercise or stored again if the body remains inactive. The greatest health benefit of intermittent fasting may not be fat loss, but autophagy, the body's process of clearing out damaged cells. Autophagy improves health by reducing harmful, aging-related senescent cells. Suppressing mTOR, a protein that promotes muscle growth but accelerates aging when overactive, helps intermittent fasting enhance longevity. Like calorie restriction, intermittent fasting triggers protective cellular responses that fight aging-related issues like obesity, insulin resistance, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and inflammation. Now let's discuss, how does intermittent fasting help reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease? Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death globally. Despite increased knowledge of prevention, cardiovascular disease mortality has risen in people aged 35 to 64. One nutritional approach to reducing cardiovascular disease risk is calorie restriction, but its strict nature makes it unsustainable for most people. While calorie restriction lowers risk factors like blood pressure, insulin levels, and body fat, studies suggest its longevity benefits only apply if started in childhood. Intermittent fasting benefits cardiovascular health in several ways. First, oxidative stress reduction. Eating less lowers free radical production, reducing inflammation that promotes cardiovascular disease. Second, circadian rhythm regulation. Time-restricted fasting aligns with the body's natural cycles, improving glucose control, blood pressure, and lipid levels. Eating late disrupts these rhythms, increasing cardiovascular disease and diabetes risk. Third, ketosis promotion. Intermittent fasting increases ketones, shifting energy use from glucose to fat, lowering LDL, raising HDL, and aiding weight loss. Unlike ketogenic diets, intermittent fasting avoids high-fat intake risks while enhancing gut health. How does intermittent fasting affect direct cardiac risk factors? Obesity significantly increases the risk of heart disease due to its link with inflammation, high blood pressure, and elevated cholesterol. Research comparing intermittent fasting with calorie restriction showed similar weight loss, but combining intermittent fasting with a low-carb diet leads to better results. In one study, participants alternating between 600-calorie fasting days and moderate carb eating days lost more weight and improved cardiovascular risk factors, though many struggled to adhere to the regimen. Despite fasting days exceeding true fasting levels, benefits like reduced insulin and blood pressure were observed. Studies of Muslims who fast during Ramadan show that they have decreased risk of heart problems, even with existing heart disease, when they fast. Intermittent fasting lowers blood pressure by calming the nervous system and reducing inflammatory markers tied to heart disease. It also helps improve cholesterol and lipid levels, though effects vary based on diet quality and exercise habits. Studies indicate intermittent fasting may protect even those with existing heart conditions, providing heart-friendly benefits comparable to medication like statins. The key to success is choosing a fasting style you can sustain long-term, as consistency determines effectiveness. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights, and follow Pression TV for more health advice.